Hey everyone, so today we had the Borderlands 4 PAX East event and there was a bunch of new information revealed about the game. And so I'll quickly tell you some of the things I think are worth mentioning for those who didn't catch it without wasting any time over explaining things. So at the beginning of the panel there was some community questions being answered and here are some of the interesting ones. So first up, it was said that the other Vault Hunters that are not on Kairos have split up and are looking for Lilith elsewhere in the galaxy. It was then said that the Tom Keeper, the main antagonist for the game, wants total control and has major dislike for Vault Hunters, which makes sense because they would disrupt his control over the population. The bolts that are implanted into the population of Kairos can have some adverse effects if they are taken out. They are high risk, high reward to remove and can also have an effect on how people are. The playable siren for the game, Vex, is labelled as a dark siren and her third action skill is called Deathringer. The other character that was showcased in the State of Play gameplay reveal was labelled as the most agile, so this makes me think that Rafer will be the Mordecai or Zero of the group. Now moving on to some gameplay information, Randy Pitchford mentioned again that the world is seamless and you can reach everything. He said there are no loading screens, so it will definitely be interesting to see how that works. There will of course be dynamic weather, but it will have no direct effect on the gameplay and will only in some cases affect the visibility of things on the screen. The dynamic world bosses and the NPCs that will need help will award the player with loot rewards. The vehicles in the game are extremely customizable and there are tons of cosmetics for the player to find. Another thing that is customizable is the robot Echo 4 with the option to add different hats to it. Staying on the topic of Echo 4, it was stated that when you die, the bot will showcase sadness towards it happening. One last thing about Echo 4 is that you can get your rewards directly from it and speak to it. Onto the topic of the minimap, Randy spoke about why the compass would be better, saying that because of how large the maps are and that they are much more vertical, a minimap could be confusing. He also went on to say that he wants people to play the game rather than the minimap, and I do understand this kind of because I do it sometimes in Borderlands 3. Moving on to the manufacturers and guns, the developers were asked about the location of Dahl, and they said we haven't heard the last of them and that Echo 4 was actually made by Dahl. The licensed part system seems very interesting as it was mentioned that there is no crafting in the game, but the rarity of the weapons dictate how many behaviours a weapon can have. Epics can have the most, but legendaries have unique effects. One cool thing about the ordnance coming to the game is that there will be laser variants, which I'm very happy to see return at least in some capacity. There is also a new shield type called Armour, that is apparently an offensive shield that can recharge during battle. The skill trees in the game are extremely diverse and are apparently very easy to get into and develop. One of the best things that was mentioned is that legendary weapons are going to have dedicated drops at launch and will be available from every main boss and mini boss. One of the legendaries is called the Ruby's Grasp. For those who play co-op will be happy to hear that they will be able to play with their friends right from the get-go, and you don't need to stay with your partners even in the giant maps. Randy also mentioned that he will play on hard difficulty and his wife on the harder difficulty, pretty much confirming that there will be difficulty options. Shortly after this there was a small Q&A with some straightforward answers, so I'll go through them now. Invincible enemies will be returning with information on them soon. In the June event coming up, there will be information revealed on the endgame. You will be able to respawn the overworld bosses without leaving the game. The Badass or Guardian rank will be brought back, but not in the usual sense. The choices are going to be meaningful and you will have to make hard choices. The price for the game has not been revealed yet, but it will be very soon. And it was also mentioned that the budget for Borderlands 4 is more than double than it was for Borderlands 3. There will be something called Ordenite coming into the game, and it was said that it was the opposite of Iridium, but it won't be a currency, however it can blow things up. The rarity of the gear was mentioned and they said it was from common to legendary, but then Randy joked about pearls, so I'm not sure if they are returning or not. And finally, the vaults that can be found on Kairos are going to be repeatable. And there we go, let me know in the comments what you think about the new features or changes coming to Borderlands 4. Thank you for watching and have a great day.